Hey everybody, how's it going? Today, let's take a detailed look at the 1979 Ford Ranchero GT Brougham. And this is going to be a detailed, in-depth review of the Ranchero. We'll start it up, show the engine, get an exhaust clip and go over the performance data, and show you a bunch of the unique aspects of the interior as well as exterior. And I'd like to give a big thanks and special shout out to Street Side Classic Cars, located in Charlotte, North Carolina, for allowing me to come out and film this immaculate 1979 Ford Ranchero GT Brougham. And so, without further ado, let's go ahead and start her up, let her run. It's an all black exterior with silver accenting, featuring a full gray vinyl interior part of the Brougham package. Give it a little bit more of a luxurious style to it. Beautiful sound. Only thing is the tachometer's not hooked up at the moment. This Ranchero came with the optional power steering as well as power brakes, with a thin-rimmed steering wheel. Cruise control, located in the buttons in the center, and it also came with a standard 3-speed automatic gearbox with low gear selection. And so we're going to flip on the headlamps, as well as the hazards. Both the windows are powered. And we're going to check out the exterior, shall we? Ford Motor Company was the first automaker to introduce the original car truck back in 1957, known as the Ford Ranchero. Its popularity would carry it for a long 23-year production run till it was discontinued in 1979. It also paved the way for the Chevrolet El Camino. First introduced in 1959, the El Camino directly competed with the Ranchero in its initial year and actually continued production through the 1980s. While you had the popular UTE in Australia, for America, the Ranchero was the first of its kind of the post-war era. Originally built on top of the full-size platform shared by the Ford Custom Sedan and Ranch Wagon station wagon, the Ranchero was designed to bring car-like comfort with the utility of a pickup truck. It was always built on top of a current production car chassis and saw many model variants over the years as models came and went. Regardless of its car-like nature, it was still sold as a truck and could be had as utilitarian as you wanted with just the basics for work. The only drawback though was the car trucks always were limited in their total payload and towing capacity when compared to a traditional heavy-duty pickup. But what the Ranchero offered was car-like driving and comfort, a variety of engine choices from economy to performance, luxury and sporty features while retaining all of the utility of a light-duty pickup truck. The Ranchero GT came standard with a unique set of 14-inch Magnum 500 aluminum alloy wheels, a popular style of wheel back in the day used on a variety of cars and gave it that finished muscle look. They're wrapped in BF Goodrich radial tires measuring 225/70. Brakes were standard power discs up front measuring 10.7 inches, with rear hydraulic assist drums measuring 11 by 2 1/4 inches. As far as the suspension, the front is an independent short and long arm suspension with coil springs, while the rear is a 4-link system paired with coil springs, angle-mounted upper and lower control arms, and heavy-duty shock absorbers on all 4 wheels. As I mentioned, the Ranchero was always built on top of a current production car and had 5 model changes throughout its lifetime. The models consisted of the original custom sedan-based truck in the late 50s, a Falcon Ranchero that offered some of the best economy in the early 60s, a Fairlane-based Ranchero in the late 60s, and even a Ranchero based on the Torino around the early 70s. With the discontinuation of the Torino lineup in 1977, Ford would need to redesign the Ranchero to a new chassis. It found its mate with the all-new full-size Panther platform that was shared by the Ford Torino and LTD sedans, hence the massive proportions. The Panther platform, periodically updated, was carried on for 33 years until 2011 with the discontinuation of the Crown Victoria and its corporate siblings. It's no doubt that this generation was one of the most refined and luxurious Rancheros built, especially in the Brougham trim, having styling cues and features that were much more premium and Lincoln-like than ever before. Thanks to its platform, the hood appears as if it's nearly the same length as the bed, which also gives it a unique center cab look unlike its predecessors. This generation Ranchero lasted from 1977 to 1979 when the model was discontinued. A luxurious commemorative 1979.5 model marked the end of its long run. The new styling that was introduced for 77 though featured projecting fenders and rear quarters with stacked headlamps and tail lamps, chrome rectangular grille, fender-mounted wraparound parking lamps, and robust chrome bumpers with integrated bumper guards. The Ranchero GT added more muscular styling with unique graphics, wheels, flight bench seat, dual sport mirrors, an array of dash gauges, and a turned dash bezel, which I'll highlight in just a second. Overall, the car has an approximate payload limit of around half a ton with a towing capacity of around 8,000 pounds. The bed itself is 74.8 inches long and features a Ford 9-inch rear end and 2.47 gears. Overall length is 220.1 inches with a height of 53.5 inches and a width of 48.2 inches. Total curb weight is around 3,716 pounds. And we're going to pop the hood. Now, while the standard engine was a 302 cubic inch or 5-liter V8, this Ranchero came with one of the optional larger engines of the time, a 351 cubic inch or 5.8-liter Windsor V8 with a dual downdraft carburetor that produces 151 horsepower at 3,600 RPM and 270 pound-feet of torque at 2,200 RPM. 0 to 60 times are an estimated 15 seconds with a quarter-mile time of 20.6 seconds at 71 miles per hour. Performance data for this generation isn't really widely available, which does make it hard to pinpoint some consistent numbers. It also carries a 26-gallon tank with an approximate miles per gallon rating of 13 city 19 highway. But as many people know, a lot of these larger cars and engines suffer from power reductions due to increase in emission regulations and differences in how performance numbers were reported from SAE gross to SAE net. It would be quite some time before the numbers began to creep back up around the 1990s. The Ranchero can be had with a basic interior suited for work with utilitarian styling, manual accessories, mirrors, windows, etc. This Brougham, on the other hand, displays how luxurious this generation could be when compared to its predecessors. Even more so when you think of the cars that share the chassis, it allows for a lot more interior room. Padded leather and vinyl wrap many of the interior surfaces with soft door panels and tufted accents with a lower carpeted portion. Across the panels is a slim strip of faux wood with chrome accenting, standard power windows, and manual mirrors. There's even increased sound deadening in the Brougham trim for a much more quiet ride. The soft and supple seats are in the unique split bench design as part of the GT package. They're manually adjusting and also feature 2 center armrests and rear pillar mounted seatbelts. Standard plush carpet with polished aluminum entry guards flow into the spacious floor pans that give sedan-like room to stretch out. The sport theme also translates to the unique gauge cluster packed with a plentiful amount of comprehensive gauges, all nicely finished off with a padded dash and a vinyl headliner.
So let's go ahead and see how she sounds. Has a fantastic muscular tone with plenty of exhaust burble. So we're going to shut her up. Nice tight door panels for $79. Being that this is a pretty much loaded out Ranchero, it did come standard with an in-dash AM/FM radio with tape deck hidden behind this little faceplate here. Power and volume, tune, and all of your preset stations. To set, pull out one of the little toggle switches, tune the station, and then push it all the way back in, and it'll automatically recall it. Switch from FM to AM via these two buttons here. Right over here is your manual adjustment for the passenger side mirror, as well as your wiper and washer control. There's plenty of bright work all around the dash bezels, and a unique, almost textured aluminum pattern coming around the speedometer cluster and the side of the dash, giving it a little bit more of a sportier feel. There's also plenty of auxiliary gauges off to the side, including your oil pressure, vehicle temperature, fuel, voltometer, and a little analog clock up to the right. Your air conditioning is located to the left-hand side of the dash, with your fan speed, different zones and heater functions, and temperature up top. Park and brake, and your dimmer switch in the back for the headlamps. Like I said, the dash is nicely finished off with full padded trim, vinyl wrapped visors, and a manually dimming rearview mirror. Down below is your ashtray and power outlet. Other than that, it's a pretty simple interior. You can also fit a third person up here if you flip these back. Alrighty. We got shutter down. And we'll flip up the front seat real quick and check out the back. To gain access to the rear, just flip up on this little switch. Then I'll fold the seat forward, yielding a nice amount of cargo space behind the front seats. Okay, let's go and check out the rest of the vehicle, shall we? Lockable glove box with a modest amount of room and some shallow drink coasters.
The Ranchero lineup was always unique. They were phased out in favor of the small pickup market, and that may not have been for everyone. But for those longing for a unique car with muscular proportions, car-like comfort, and pickup utility, there's nothing else better than a classic car truck.
Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this detailed look at the 1979 Ford Ranchero. Be sure to stay tuned next time. There's a lot more where that came from. Take care, everybody.